I've been bout my papyrus since I've been in it. Put me in the debate, you know I'm gon' win it. If I scream black power, don't get timid. If I say black city, I'm talking about Kemet. If I say black city, I'm talking about Kemet. Primary research and we done pushed it to the limits. All you dudes finished. The king counting cattle up with brother Reggie. When I'm in Oakland smoking, bro, they love the Chevy. Back in the day, it was the spokes on the chariot. Long procession when the king got carried out to every spot. Woman looking nice as ISIS. I read ancient texts, so my advice is priceless. Nubian gold, your ice don't entice us. Beating me harder than counting grains in your spices. Your heart was beating, but your brain dead, you're lifeless. Yo, they ain't nothing like us, yo. Don't try to make me mad. Make me smile and say you love me, man. That's real right there. Yeah, come on. You should listen to your man's advice. Do a YouTube and apologize like Dice. Or the back fade coming like the Antichrist. Egyptologist sent me reading and said that I'm nice. I got a speller with your name on it. I'm like Sargon. You the type of dude wake up and your car gone. Told, cause of the money you owe. Before you stream, you should clean up that humble abode. Like Akhenaten City for my woman in gold. I keep the pseudos running, people coming in droves. You catch me on a live stream with Pan-African James. When we building, call us by our African names. I'm for the children. And ain't nothing happened to change. We on that black hype, so we still packing them things for protection. Got connections. My complexion, pure black, that's the essence. Make me smile. You love me? Show me some love. All right.
What up? Do. I was just watching some videos about the music business. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to share some of this and then we can speak on it and build on it. But until then, y'all know that last tune y'all heard is off the album called Fights Over Egypt. You can cop that right on my Bandcamp. I'll play another tune off that joint and let's chill for a minute.
Yeah, and I'ma work cause I ain't going out lazy, bruh. Thought he was conscious, but the homie just played me, bruh. The house of consciousness is going out crazy, bruh. They crazy, bruh. Alright, it's getting kinda dirty in these YouTube streets. The Amira squad, God thinking you dudes weak. Islam or Judaism, where you learn what you dudes teach. The West African rappers slapping with that voodoo speech. All that sub-Saharan terror about a kufu feet. I'm like Norma, that agricultural farmer that grew you wheat for the storehouses. We feed the Hebrews and lead the people when we defeat the feeble. They wanna know polite rip me off, but Sonetta paid me my money though. That mean he 100. And I'ma work cause I ain't going out lazy, bruh. Thought he was conscious, but the homie just played me, bruh. The house of consciousness is going out crazy, bruh. They crazy, bruh. With the Jews, I rock the pinky. I think Jesus got to save me. A doctor save me, a Dr. Inky. I cop the copper jewels all blue and red. I'm not the chakra doctor y'all claim woke. But you in bed, you won't pop a chopper, you Grandmaster J. You just talking. Punks turn the other cheek and you will walk away. Y'all gon' have to pardon my Moorish. That's Taharka Bay. I'm on that black African power on my darkest day. And that's my brother Ankh stomping them other punks. We brought them gators to Italy, you loving the Moors. And now I'm teaching from my shrine like brother Jabari. Scoping the savannah cause I'm on another safari. Tasha K showed us Frank record. Young Pharaoh just losing his mind and y'all can't help him. I know one thing, you're a fool if you're still out here donating to Umar school. That shit through. And I'ma work cause I ain't going out lazy, bruh. Thought he was conscious, but the homie just played me, bruh. The house of consciousness is going out crazy, bruh. They crazy, bruh. Look. You showing your hidden colors like Tariq Nasheed. A bunch of pseudo information I don't think I need. Probably lying on the text, ask Divine or Zion Lex. Just get that microphone ready. With Metal Netta, I'm Stone Jetty. A Ujahu, a Saw Imhotep. Y'all probably timid still on them Bobby Hemmett teachings. I'm in Gozy with the DNA. You cats corny and it's killing me too. You talk that black shit, but you look Arab like Gorilla Hebrew. You need therapy, they telling me just chillin', be cool. I'm a magi orchard, you a sad guy talking. And I'm a worker, cause I ain't going out lazy, bruh. Thought he was conscious, but the homie just played me, bruh. The house of consciousness is going out crazy, bruh.
One, two,
crazy,
one, two,
bruh.
Alright, what's up? How y'all doing? Peace to the people in the building. See if they're gonna get some more notifications out so we can get rocking. What's up with it? Lazy morning, I guess. I don't know. I woke up just watching some hip hop videos. But I mean, you know, YouTube be doing me crazy. So I'm gonna wait. Hopefully they could get some notifications out. Let the people know we live so we can do it. But we already doing it. What's up, Christoph Nova? What's up? Shares Move. What's up, dog? What's the word? Let me see this video I was watching. It was this guy talking about copyrights. And then he just started saying a lot of stuff, and I was just like, all right, this is a cool video. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here we go.
You're actually...
Now, when people talk about music, one thing is, I used to be like, hear somebody say a way to do something, and if they wasn't saying the way that I do it, then I would like be like, you know, like acting like there's only one way to do things. But really, in reality, there's more than one way to do things. And it ain't even no reason to feel no kind of way if somebody's explaining a different process or a way of doing the process in a way that's different than you. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Bitcoin ain't doing shit. Why is you even talking about that? Like, damn. This video say music business. So, you know, like I would hear other people explain different stuff in different ways, and then I'll be thinking, you know, I'll be thinking like, that ain't the way to do it. But yeah, it's plenty of different ways and all kind of shit, all kind of different ways to do things. So you don't have to necessarily be, if you hear somebody explaining how to do things different than you do it, I mean, that wasn't your problem. I was saying that was a problem of mine. Well, now I'll just be like, yep, okay, it's second ways to do stuff. Let me see. But this is a guy talking about the truth about copyrighting your beats. And I should possibly know the person's name, DJ Payne 1. And this is just his perspective coming from his experience. A lot of what you hear from me is my perspective coming from my experience. I don't think you're going to be able to say something ain't true, because I went through it and experienced it. But let's hear what he's talking about.
Might tell you that is because your beats are already copyrighted. I've explained this many times, so I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on this. Why would anyone tell you not to copyright your beats? Well, one reason why they might tell you that is because your beats are already copyrighted. I've explained this many times, so I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on this, but according to copyright.gov, which is the official copyright office and the only authority more on this on copyright law, yes, music is automatically copyrighted the moment it's created in fixed intangible medium.
So this is one thing that we learn as artists, and we learn how to try to, I don't want to say exploit this, use these mechanisms in order to form what we call a poor man's copyright, right? And we know that but it's just based on this fact. And it's not just really music, it's intellectual property. Intellectual property is like stuff, you thought of it. It was your intellectual property, right? And so we're reading what it says on the screen. Yes, music is automatically copyrighted the moment it's created and fixed in a tangible medium. So now what does that really mean? When y'all vibing in the studio and y'all have not recorded it yet, that's when it is up for grabs. Meaning that's when it has not been placed in a tangible medium or a tangible form. A tangible form is something tangible really means touchable, something you could touch. So in a tangible form is basically like a physical medium. If you record it onto a tape, that's a tangible form. Put it on wax. Now here's something that's funny about that. And we haven't tripped off this lately. But it hasn't been brought up in copyright law. But we all know that digital mediums are intangible. If it's digital, it ain't physical, you can't touch it. So the question extra on top of what he's showing us here is, what if you created the song and placed it in an intangible medium? Then what you would have to do just to get around the law is print that out onto a CD. Meaning you don't want to, a lawyer will probably argue, well, this is a tangible medium because it's on this hard drive. And if I was a lawyer, that's what I would argue too, that this is definitely a tangible medium. These digital files are placed on this hard drive. If I destroy this hard drive, then these files are destroyed. Therefore, it is on a tangible medium. And so the question I was raising, I probably just answered my own question. But yeah, just like you're saying, it's copywritten as soon as you create it. So what is the deal about going to the copyright office and stuff? That's the difference between what's called registering. That's registering a copyright. So here's some mistake that we believe. Just because it's copywritten like that automatically, we think that we got some type of protections. Under this, if you just like, okay, I copywritten this in a tangible medium, you don't got no copyright protections. You have to fight for that yourself. Meaning you'd have to do all of the proving, you'd have to be going through litigations in order to prove it. If you register with the Copyright Office, you ain't got to do that no more. Now it's just in the system, and you already can just show people, look, bow, this is my registration date, and all of the protections of U.S. government copyright would then be on your side because you registered with the Copyright Office. Not saying that you ain't gonna have some of those protections. It just ain't gonna happen as automatically as it would happen if you registered with the Copyright Office. But yeah, let me see what dude's saying.
like a recording or sheet music. I'm not a lawyer, but it sounds to me as though an Ableton file or an FLP project would honestly entail both recorded music and sheet music, because it's playable audio, but there's also the piano roll, so all the elements of the underlying composition are there. Which brings me to the next point, which is the fact that every piece of recorded music entails two separate copyrights, and this is incredibly important. Now, when it comes to automatic copyright registration, there's way more to the story, which is what I'm going to get into. But dialing back a bit, copyright runs the music business. If a producer doesn't understand how...
So I don't know why he said that, or why he limited to that. Where he said every piece of recorded music has two copyrights. But really, it got way more than two. It got about six. I would think 7, but it's really 6. So the 2 he talking about, we'll just let him get to it.
How copyrights work, or how they even exist, then they don't understand their business. And the response to my last video on copyrights was just another bleak reminder that the majority of people aspiring to be in the music business don't understand the music business because they don't understand copyrights. So hopefully this video helps. Back to my beautiful chart, which is available on the BeatStars publishing website. Every single recorded piece of music, whether it's a beat or a song, entails 2 copyrights: the sound recording and the composition. As I said earlier, publishing company, like the traditional music business before DIY, before the internet, before all that, was really set up just to benefit record labels and publishers. And publishers dealt with this copyright, record labels dealt with this copyright. It's the same story today, but you can be self-published and DIY, in which case you would control both of your copyrights. But the music business boils down to this: one or more musicians create a recorded piece of music or an underlying composition, but usually a recorded piece of music. They own the 2 copyrights, and then they license, exploit, or sell.
Well, let's just think about this, because he keeps saying they own the 2 copyrights. And to him, the 2 copyrights are the master recording or the composition. But just looking at his chart, I'm going to ask y'all one question. He got it under recording royalties. That's what I was looking for. So he has basically the ability to be able to distribute your music. That is 1 copyright in itself. I hope he knows that. But he has that under the master recording. It seems that he does know that, but his brain just worked different than mine, because he got them down on this 3rd line right here. You know what I'm saying? Well, in all actuality, this right of physical copies and downloads should be up on the top line. Oh, well, I feel him. It could be up on this 2nd line here. And so I'm just learning how he's breaking this down. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's like I said in the beginning, it's just the way that people see things and understand things. And so if you own the master recording, that's what people say, own your masters, right? If you own the master recording and you want to, let's say, put it on digital radio, yep, you got the rights to do that. Digital performance royalties. Yeah, but this ain't all the way right. Because even if you don't own the master recording, you could be due digital performance royalties, because they have passed a law for featuring artists. And that's what Sound Exchange handles down here. And so I don't want to just pick through his chart. I'm just going to let it play and then try to add what I do know.
The 2 copyrights in exchange for money and royalties. That's the music business. It's that simple, but a lot of people don't understand it because they haven't really taken the time to understand it. Maybe because it's too simple. All these music business gurus and influencers, they want to complicate things just so they can sell you a course. I don't know. Maybe it's not a conspiracy and people just don't want to learn. But when it comes to copyright, I urge all of you, if you have questions, don't rely on Reddit threads or the comments section or people on Twitter, because they're full of shit. Most of your copyright copyright concerns can be clarified by just logging on to copyright.gov/help/FAQ. These frequently asked questions provide a lot of insight and very clear answers from the only authority on copyright in the United States and many other territories. It's free, it's easy to use, it's easy to search. And additionally, copyright.gov, the United States Copyright Office, if you're in the United States, is the only...
I want to skip to, let's let him finish the sentence, but I want to skip to selling beats making six figures.
way to register a copyright. Third-party companies probably advertise copyright services, but they're going to charge you more for them. And you can simply just Google how much it costs to copyright audio. If there are multiple copyright authors, then that changes the price. So here are the fees. They'll walk you through the process on copyright.gov, but also there are websites such as Easy Song that can explain maybe more clearly exactly how to copyright your music. There are a lot of other myths here.
All right, let me see. He said selling beats making six figures.
Beats. I've created a system for myself where I've consistently been able to make six figures a year off of my music production. And I'm working on a course to teach you that system, but that takes me away from making beats. So I'm creating a Patreon community and it just launched this week. Shout out to my 8 members. I'm going to shout them out in a second. But you can join too. This is brand new. If you sign up, you get access to the private Discord. I just posted it.
So hold on, man. This is what I want to ask. Is this what you're supposed to do nowadays? Hold up. Am I just all out of the template? Is that what you're supposed to do? Nowadays you give some information out and then you lead it back to your Patreon or your Discord where you're going to learn more for this price that I'm gonna give you. I guess that's a business model for YouTube, right? Every time you watch these videos and then you get to the sincerity, you try to, you get in your game and then you get led back to the Patreon or the what you call it. I'm not mad. That's cool. That's a business model for YouTube. But I'm like, what's up with that business model? What's up, Malcolm? I see you. I just peeped game. What's going on? Yeah, but I'm getting tired of that business model. Because it seemed to me like it's almost the same thing. You know what I mean? Let me turn this phone down, man. Oh no, too many notifications. All right. I guess that's just what you're supposed to do. And sometimes it's my fault for not understanding that, yeah, that's what you do. You give out some information and get people to your Patreon.
A free sample for us to collab on. I'm going to do that periodically. If you sign up for one of the higher tiers, you'll get monthly mentorship calls with me. You get access to a sample vault that's many, many gigabytes, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of files of samples I've created, drum kits that are no longer available. I'm also
I don't even know who you is, respectfully.
Also giving anybody who signs up for the 2 higher tiers a free copy of my latest drum kit. And if you stay a member, you will get copies of any drum kit that I release in the future for free. Any sample pack, any drum kit, multi-kit, whatever that I create myself for free. So shout out to everyone that...
So this business model is cool. It works for people. And I think it's really targeted at the youth. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? It's targeted for people up and coming. And if I was probably 18, 19, I would look at this model as being beneficial. People who I possibly follow or watch, and then they tell me, okay, in order if you want to get my sample packs and stuff, you do this. That's cool.
That signed up right away. I appreciate you being early. Shout out A. Dunna, shout out Hot Work, shout out Josh.
But I don't like it. Because there's no way you could tell people how you made 6 figures, but it ain't no template for that. Like, it ain't no template like you could take a class and then after you take the class, you about to be making 6 figures. Come on, dog. That's what I'm saying, so that's kind of crazy.
aka TGC Mac 3G. Shout out Trav, shout out Dwayne Ransom, shout out Jay Thrills. Shout out you there. If you're watching this, you're probably a producer. You want to sell beats to big artists. You want to, get on the next Kendrick Lamar album, whatever the case is. If you're a producer getting major album placements, these 4 things can get you paid. Number 1, the producer advance. The labels will pay you the producer advance. Producer points, there's your publishing, which is just kind of the umbrella.
Man, all of this, all right, cool. So I guess we have to address this. These are just standards for a producer agreement. And I honestly, so when publishing is placed into the agreement, that's the only time that is infringed upon. Let me just think about this. If you think about a contract, that word contract means to constrict. It's like to limit something. And so if some terminology is not placed in that contract, you retain what you owned before you step to it. So if y'all didn't talk about it, then you automatically, if there's no agreement about your publishing, then you automatically retained 100% of it. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Hold on. Let me see, man.
Copyright law. Yes, music is automatically.
How did it go back to this? Get back here.
4 things can get you paid. Number 1, the producer advance. The labels will pay you the producer advance. Producer points, there's your publishing, which is just kind of the umbrella term for the underlying composition. Actually involves a publisher's share and a writer's share. I'll show you in a second. And there's also sound exchange. All 4 of these can be made part of your producer agreement. They generally just are. That's typically how these deals work. So when you sell a beat to a major label, they pay you in advance in exchange for this copyright.
So let me tell you like that.
They are assuming ownership of the master recording copyright, not just to your beat, but the entire song. So the artist, lyrics, everything too. On the sound.
So that's old school, man. We don't do that no more. So I don't know about that. Meaning, all right, if somebody want to buy your beat, yeah, they buying the beat, right? They are, but you can stipulate all the different ways that beat is purchased and what is retained. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying, but this is the reason why what he's saying is true. It's because you think about it, that beat is about to go with a collection of other beats, which is going to form an album, which of that album, the master recording is owned by the entity that owns it, whichever label owns it, right? Pay for it or whatever. So all of the elements that made up that album have to be owned in the same way too. So what he's saying is correct. But we have to know that we got, these type of negotiations ain't just one-way negotiations. And we always got a say-so in that type of negotiation. So sometimes people just, one of the worst ways I think that this is approached is as what they call a work for hire. Well, that's like paying the musician to come to the studio. That musician play that part and he get money for what he did and he just walk out and that's the end of it. A producer should never be placed in that type of a situation to where you just get some bread, you pay for the beat, and you ain't attached to nothing that happens with the beat after that. And so let's see how he addresses it.
Sound recording side, just the recorded side. Sound exchange falls under that umbrella. So you need the sound exchange LOD on that contract. Otherwise, you're not getting paid sound exchange royalties, which would come from digital radio, certain types of digital.
No, that's just not true. So it's two sides to this. When I say that's not true, I'm not debating or refuting him. It's just information that he probably, if he's seen this video, be aware that he left out. What he's saying is true on the master recording side, but you will get paid from sound exchange, because sound exchange service both sides. and their focus is to service the songwriters and the artists. Sound Exchange was not put together to service the master recording side. Sound Exchange was put together to get money to the artists who had not been getting their money for being on top of, for working on these type of recordings, specifically from one facet of digital radio, which is not it is like the serious satellite radio stuff, right? If somebody play you on Shade 45, you get that bread through Sound Exchange. You don't get that bread through BMI and other places. So now if I could take you in the Sound Exchange right now, and you'll see that featured artists, there's a pot held by the stream where the streaming money is, I don't want to say created, where the money is made. At the point the money is made, they can't pay it all to the person who owns the master recording. There was a law passed on that. And a certain percentage has to be held for those who actually, and they call them featured artists, who are featured on the song. And those, they don't even have to own the master recording. So the way that we run our label, Hieroglyphics, we don't be, our Sound Exchange checks don't be hella for the master recording side, because we own the company. We are the artist. So we just let us live as artists. And a lot of it go towards the artist side. And if you notice, if you see, I mean, I could guess, a lot of companies that are owned by artists particularly would have a similar type of structure, because we created two entities, right? But the first entity I created was a rapper called Casual. And the second entity I created was a label that manages all of the works of that rapper called Casual. Now the question you gonna ask yourself is, which entity that you created them both and you own them both, which one is going to be the owner of the master recording? Well, we like, okay, our initial entity was these artists we are. And we are artist-based label. So we favor thing on the artist side. But now if you notice, the typical label ain't rappers. If you go to a major label, it's rich white people from South Africa and stuff like that, and overseas in Germany and other things. But in my case, it was Clive Davis at Jive Records, and he was from South Africa, right? And so now that's this side. You feel me? They want it all. They own your masters, and they even try to take your publishing and all type of other stuff like that. But as an artist-based label, we tend to put things on the artist side.
Digital radio, not Spotify, but non-interactive streaming radio. Look that up. This is the complicated part. Basis is easy. The minutiae get kind of complicated, but once you learn them, it's not rocket science. This is easier to understand than freshman level algebra. So we got this. We can do this. So you sell your beat, you lose out on this, but they'll give you points. Now the point system, I think, is outdated and unfair, and I think producers should get equity, or they should get their master rights, reverted back.
All right, now let me just prove something. I'm gonna try to use AI. I don't think the point system is outdated. I'm gonna ask this to prove my point, because really what we need to understand is points are just percentages. Now look at this. In the music industry, publishing points represent ownership percentages, see? So it's an error to say that points are outdated. Points was a trick. And I learned this firsthand because I didn't know for hella years, y'all. Let me show y'all something. See, if somebody come to you and say, hey, bruh, we gonna do this album, you got a record deal, and you about to get 8 points. you're going to get 8 points every record. You sitting there thinking, all right, you said it like it was cool. You don't know what points are. And you just like, all right, cool. What do the normal person get? Okay, the normal person get about 6, 7 points. Okay, cool. Dude, let me show you this on the screen. This is the only trick, bruh. Points means percentage. Never let nobody fool you. They did that for long enough. In the 90s, I was fooled by that too because the internet wasn't out. So I didn't have nobody who I could go say, bro, you janking me. Look at this. In the music industry, publishing points represent ownership percentages of a song's copyright, specifically the composition, lyrics, and music. Each point typically equals 1%. So it's just a trick terminology. A point is a percent. So now you see how you got fooled. Because when somebody said, bro, you about to get 8 points, you thought that was cool. But if they would have said, you about to get 8%, it would have said 8%. What? Getting no damn 8% of my album. So in order to avoid saying percent, literally, in order to avoid saying percent to artists, they just start saying points. As you can see here, there's no reason why you have to say point over percent. So in the music industry, publishing points represent ownership percentages of a song's copyright, specifically the composition, lyrics, and music. Each point typically equals 1% of the publishing royalties. This means that a producer, artist, or other contributor with, for example, 10 publishing points will receive 10% of the income generated from the song's publishing. So there you go. That was a big old... It's not like points are ancient. You need to understand what points is. Points ain't nothing but percentages. And the fact that we say points, it just misleads the artist into thinking it's something other than a percentage of his own material. Do we understand that? Do we get that? I know we see that right there, right? That's crazy. Even when I learned that myself, I was like, why y'all just wasn't saying percentage? So I could have understood that. Why everybody saying these trick terms that you got to figure out what it means?
Back to them after a certain period of time, that's another conversation. You would retain your underlying composition rights, which is your writer's share and publisher's share. This will pay you performance royalties through your PROs like ASCAP and BMI, which is what we just discussed. It'll also pay mechanical royalties. If you do end up getting a sync placement, which is great because usually that's just free money, it's paid out evenly among the copyright holders. So anyone owning a stake in the master recording and the composition, they get paid. Say like you get a major placement on a Kendrick Lamar album and that song gets synced for like an ESPN ad. The label's getting all of this, but unless you did something wild and unadvisable, like sell your underlying composition copyright as well, you're still getting some of this money. So maybe the total deal from ESPN is $50,000 for the sync license. The label's getting $25,000, and the underlying composition owners, which would be you, if there's a co-producer, the co-producers, the co-writers, you're all splitting up that remaining $25,000, which could still amount to a lot of money.
That's right.
So back to the main question. Should you even bother registering your beats for copyright?
All right. No, he was giving them some game. I ain't even mad. It was good to see. All right, let's see what he said about this. Forget it.
Copyrights. The answer is you don't have to, but there's more to the story. So right now, If you don't register all of your beats formally on copyright.gov, are you still protected? Yes, you are. You're still protected by copyright law. If somebody steals your beats, puts them on Spotify, can you still file a DMCA claim and get their music taken down? Yes, you can. Can you still send a cease and desist letter? Yes, you can. Can you still take legal action? Up to a point. Now, let's just be completely honest here. I'm not telling you, this is not legal advice. Just ask yourself this question. Do you personally know anyone in the music business that has sued anybody for copyright infringement? I mean, sued, gone to court. The answer is probably no. Most of these copyright cases don't make it that far. Usually people want to settle. Going to court, actually getting a litigating attorney, that's a drain on your resources. It's incredibly expensive. But formally registering a copyright, as in paying for it, going through that whole registration process, uploading the music to the Copyright Office, all of that provides protection in the sense that if somehow you can't resolve a copyright infringement case, say like with a major label, you're actually going ahead with suing them. It says here, yes, you can register a copyright before filing a lawsuit for infringement, but you need to register before filing the lawsuit itself. Apparently there's a legal precedent, and that comes from the Supreme Court. You can't sue some.
That's good information. I can't hate. He was saying a lot of good stuff right there. You know what I'm saying? Like we say, it ain't one way just to do it. I can't tell you how to, like, oh, take my Patreon, I'm going to show you how to blow up. You're going to blow up after my Patreon. But yeah, it's stuff that experienced people like he was just showing you his experience. He could teach you some things that will be useful to help, so I can't be mad at that. I'm just happy to even have a position and to be things that have been worked out fairly cool in my situation. You know what I'm saying? Tell the youngsters what we did and what can be done. You know, and the rules that I wish I knew when I was hella young. Like, did y'all know points was just a percentage? And when you hear somebody say points, just don't fall for that. Just think percent. Right? Then you would never agree to accept no wild ass points. But then they start telling you these industry standards. They be like, oh, well, the standard is artists get this, and the standard is that. You can't go for the standard. You got to change the standard. You feel me? If I could find my old Drive record contract, man, that mug was like 200 pages. Shazmu said they use points in real estate too. That's interesting. So then we can know they just talking about percentages in a different way. All right. I be seeing artists that can't tour or stay on the road, or I be wondering how it is that certain artists don't be having no shows or don't be there. Shout out to Big Crush who asked, am I an independent artist now? Yeah, I'm an independent artist, and I'm a CEO of a record company called Hieroglyphics Imperium. You feel me? But I'm just like, we rotating artists. We run our own company, and it's just me on deck right now. You feel me? But yeah, I rap under the moniker Casual. You feel me? So shout out to Big Crush for asking. Let me show you one of my last release projects. But I've been doing this since like the 90s, bruh. Like, this ain't no, like, you getting straight game right now watching this show. Right now, we just on some OG, just chilling, but the bar work is still bananas, you feel me? And so this was one of my last real releases. Sometimes I made a whole album just for my YouTube channel, and I didn't even release it right. You can submit beats to me. I listen when I'm recording. My email for that is casual@hieroglyphics.com. All dictionary spellings, casual@hieroglyphics.com. But as a matter of fact, this album that I did was put together, and I like seeing sold out up there. You know, sold out, sold out. That's cool. Because it means people you did business with to manifest these projects, everybody got their returns. This album was produced by a brother named Dead Perry, and we just hooked up through the computer space. Now we've been rocking for a while, and it got, Bandcamp said this is one of the best albums on there for that year, for that month, or what have you. They gave it its limited accolades, which was rather cool. You feel me? So that was cool. But yep, I've been doing it for a minute, man. Like a lot of people you might see on, I would like to, I'll be watching a lot of artists, podcasts, shows, or whatever you want to call them. And I do be wanting to hear a lot more about, cats talking about a lot of current information and stuff. That's cool. But I be liking hearing the stories when Cameron tell the stories of how stuff happened in hip hop and stuff like that. I be like wanting to hear that type of stuff. That's just me though. Yeah. Yeah, send me some beats at casual@hieroglyphics.com. You feel me? If artists who ain't familiar with sound, a lot of artists wasn't even familiar with Sound Exchange. You gotta have your Sound Exchange in place. I talk about it every once in a while when we do the subject, and dude was just talking about it too. Also, licensing, whatever you could do to position yourself to get your music licensed by these channels and movies and stuff. It sounds hard, but if you say I'm about to focus on that every year, and you're gonna make some progress and eventually land a license. You know what I'm saying? So what's up? Let me just kick it for a minute. I'm looking at stuff on hip hop. Let me see. Oh, they won't even let me play this album no more, which is hella weird. Check this out. Let me show you. Go listen to this when you got the time. It's called The Art of Reanimation. That's the album I did with my man Dead Perry. What we got? Who on here? We got DJ TMB, Festo, Planet Asia, Tri-State, MC Wicks, Ghostface Killer, Killer Priest. We got ETO, P Dirt, Crime Apple, Rascast, Rain Royal, Tajay, Dice One, Festo, DJ Jason, Israel, Self-Titled, Jake Spliff, Sally Green. A lot of people was on that. Check that thing out. Anyway, man, what's up? I don't hear a lot of people talking about the easy way you can just put tours together, starting with, we used to get, one of my people told me we started that route. I'm gonna have to interview Opio and interview some people from the crew who got some information. I didn't know we started that route for it's a hip hop circuit that artists used to take, and it's a route of clubs. But somebody told me, man, we started that route. And then everybody started taking that route after us. But, because see, there was a different route artists used to take that we didn't take in the 90s. Cats used to go through the black colleges route. And they would get hella shows at all the black colleges. That was one route you could take, but we wasn't, we was going for clubs and things. And so we had made a different route. And one of the homies told me that we made that. I got to get more research on that, get more interviews and see if I can do that. But that's interesting to know. We used to book all our own tours, bro. You could get out there and just, if you started from nothing, I can put together a tour on anybody. I be feeling like, man, I should look at some of these artists who ain't got no shows and put together a whole little touring agency or whatever. Sometimes I be thinking like that. Cats can't stay on the road. We stay on the road with stuff sold out. After like 30 years. You know what I mean? But the way that I approach it from, like, if I'm on the ground level, you got to be humbled a little bit and work it up. You can work it up to where you get fat pots because there's only one club, and they probably, let's say the club take 1,000 people. You know for a fact if they're charging 30 to get in, that's 30 racks can be made on that night from the ticket sales. Now, you know, if they got a bar, the bar is always going to make what the door make or better. So if you're making 30 racks off the ticket, if you can pack that club with 1,000 people, you got 30 racks from the door, they're going to get 30 racks from the bar. They probably won't give you the whole door. But the goal is to be able to work yourself up to about getting 20, 30 racks from a nightclub. It's going to start at, you might not be getting nothing. You might get 500, then you might get 1,500, 4,500. But how do that work really? It worked like this. If you want the first entry, and you say you had a band, or not you, say you don't even got a band. You know a band that's hella hot, right? And you like, forget it, I'm about to become a manager or whatever. I'm going to get into the business to start getting people shows. It's hella easy. I talk about this all the time. Let me see. First thing you're going to do is identify a venue. Let's say you identify a venue, right, where that band could do some numbers. Or you want them to be able to become a thing at that venue. So, okay, look. You're going to do the simple numbers. What's the capacity of the venue? So I'm going to do these easy numbers. Say it's 1,000 people capacity, right? All right, but you got an up-and-coming band you don't even think is going to do nothing. The first way you try to get entry into that club, and 1,000 might be too big, say you go for 500 or 350, is contacting the talent buyer. We talk about this the whole time, and try to get a door split. That's the first way you could get any band their own show at a venue. A door split. You're going to split the door with the venue. That's going to work at some of these smaller little bars with a stage that could get like 300-400 people in there, right? And you trying to get a show for your son, you trying to be the daddy, mama manager or whatever, don't even know how to get a show. I'm telling you right here on the Smash Rockwell show. You could, first of all, the way that you approach the venue, you got to know how to approach them. You're not looking for the promoter. You're not doing that. The promoter, that's somebody who rented the venue for their own interest a lot of times. All you're going to do is hit the venue, ask who's the talent buyer. Write that down. Talent buyer. And this is why you want to use that type of terminology. Because normally a bartender or somebody probably halfway in the know or fully in the know gonna answer the phone. And hella people call clubs and stuff. If you saying the right stuff when you call, you might get pushed through to the appropriate people. So if you hear them all talking about, who the promoter? I'm trying to give my son some shows at that club. You might get a not too far. But if you're just looking to talk to the talent buyer, normally that was the term that always got me to the other person who books the talent for that venue. You tell the talent buyer you want to hit them off with a package or something, but you're looking to see if they got any off nights that you could get a hold on that off night for a door split. Man, a lot of the times that's going to always work. So if you that type of businessman in the hood and your homies don't even know how to get a show, you could go do that on your own. Not even talking to them and come back and be like, hey, bro, what y'all doing Thursday the 13th? I got a show for y'all. What? A show? Yeah. They say they're going to let you split the door. They're going to split the door with you. Door split, you always want to get the best part of it, 70-30, 80-20, 90-10, anything you can do, because they're going to get the bar. Some people will give you 100% of the door if they think you're going to do numbers that's going to make their bar jump. Try it. See if I'm lying. Then what you do, you get on a map and you route that. You find another club outside of a 60-mile radius where you can do the same thing. Then you route it around the whole United States till you come back home, bro. Man, that's all that is right there. It ain't really much more than that. And then that'll start to grow and to develop. The numbers game is this. Let's say now if you're smart, if you're really, really smart and you starting that off and you're going to do the door split and you're going to let them do the door split, you're going to make that ticket price be hella low. Because why you tripping off getting money off the show more than you tripping off impressing the talent buyer at the venue? Think about that. So this is what I learned in getting sponsorships and getting money, and we can even see it on YouTube. You win if you got the people. Remember that. If you got the people, you win, bro. If you got the people, you're going to get your sponsorships, you're going to get all your money. Because what these corporations don't got is the people. Grassroots access to the people. What corporations got is the money and the product and all that. But if you got the people, you can do good in any regard. That's easy. I don't know. I don't see nothing from the chat. Let me see if I can find the chat. Where my chat went? I probably knocked it down tonight. Well, did y'all know about how easy that was already to set your you could do that world tour. So you telling me I could tell you, let me tell you something. This is real game. I can tell you a club, or you can look it up on Google, in London right now, in London, a hip hop club, and you could call them saying the things I'm saying, not even for yourself, but for a large artist. Dude, this is so easy. But you just got to talk to people first. Yeah, I'll leave this video up. Sometimes I take them down after I finish, you right? But I will leave this up since you asked. You think I'm playing? So you can contact, say you talk to my crew, all you got to do is say, what y'all doing on this date? I might have an offer for y'all. And I would say, okay, on that date, we're free. Then if you went to a venue, talk to the talent buyer and said, I got a line on this group on this date, they want this number. And if the venue say you can do it, you just made, dude, that's what people do all the time. Guess what they call booking agents? That's so easy to do. I be wondering, like, damn, why cats don't be like you could, like the homies could make a job out of knowing you and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like if I know, like I know Dale, I could go get shows for Dale and get my percentage and make a living off that. Know the Souls of Mischief, I could book a show for the Souls, make a living off that. I'm just saying that's just something that can happen. It's just that easy. My man said, yeah, that's why having hella followers online pops for advertising. All about the people and the fan. Yeah, it's true. If you got the people, it is true. So what I was saying in the literal sense of going to one of them venues, $3 to $5. If you could tell the venue, look, I got about, I mean, you know, you don't want to say free. If you negotiate a door split, they want something from the door, so how you gonna say free? But you're gonna tell them, look, I just want to charge $5 out $10 on this first one, and I'm about to get about, I think I'm gonna sell the venue out. I'm gonna pack the house. Free always work too. If you're really trying to get some exposure, this is how you do free. Right? You just go in your own pocket and say how much. So this is what I'm saying. You do a door split with them or whatever, you put 500 on the door only. I'm talking about a small venue you getting started, 300 people. You say, I'm going to go out my pocket and put 500 on the door and get that to the venue and say, all right, y'all made 500 from the door. But you let everybody in for free. Let them in for free, bro. It's going to be cracking for your son, your daughter. That show going to be cracking. You're going to get all the content, and the footage is worth more than that. So now you got your son, your daughter on the stage in a cracking venue. You only came up out of whatever you thought that you wanted the venue to get because you negotiated that door split. And you said, okay, in order to let people in for free, I got to get the venue something. So I'm going to get a venue 500 and then let people in for free and come down to the show. It's free. You know what I'm saying? Why on bow? You're going to at least get some people in there. And if not, then damn. How bad is that? You know what I mean? You're going to do it, though. But back to what I was saying, I'm thinking about how you string them things together just on the map. We used to do that off MapQuest, bro. Domino used to have straight MapQuest printouts. And we'll be in a van going from city to city. Feel me? Well, that is something I learned from other artists before me. Like, how you get a door split? How do you actually negotiate a door split? You can call any venue if you know what you're talking about. You find a off night when they not about to make no money and let them know, man, I got the people. I'm about to bring these people up in here like this. Boom. You can even do that if you're not a performing artist. You could just be like a DJ. And be like, all right, let me get that night. But whatever, that is the business of getting out on the road like that. You want to test it, try it. Like find a venue in your city, call them with that same language. Ask who they talent buyer as soon as they answer the phone. They're going to be like, hold on, and they're going to shoot you to the person, and then you ain't going to know what to say. Well, as soon as you do get forward to the talent buyer, you're not trying to sell no pitch, you're going to sound stupid. People with too many words be making me sick. You just say what you need to say. Like you looking to get a hold on a date on one of their off nights for a possible door split situation. What's up? They'll say door splits. Do y'all do door? We don't do door splits. Then you can tell them we do. If they do door split, or like, no, I'm thinking about a Thursday night where I'm about to bring y'all like 400 people. Then they'd be like, man, please. I've done so many of those. I had bad door splits and good door splits. Or I had door splits that would have been better than the guarantee. So a club gonna guarantee you something, but you can do a door split that'll beat the guarantee. If they only gonna guarantee you 1,500, and you like 1,500, you doing the math, like that's 150 people bringing $10. I'm about to have at least 400-500 in here. I'd rather do a door split. Feel me? And you get more money in the long run. But whatever. It is what it is. The thing why we don't like, if you a big group, like if my group can't do that because we too big for that, we got too many moving parts. But I was just saying to the homies, like, bro, we'd probably cake up if we did that. Everything got to be guaranteed for me to even put my homies on flights. You feel me? Like, ain't nobody going all over the earth without no guarantees. We too old for that. But I'm talking about young people getting sponsored and getting started, please. So this is what else we used to do. This is game two. It works. I ain't never seen this not work. So once you route your tour, man, let me just show you. We can do it right now. Once you route your tour, right? Let me open up a map. Show you how you do it. Hella easy. So you want to think like 60 miles because you know you ain't that popping to where you're going to be having people who came from the last 60 miles to your next show. You need to get into new little markets, but I just want to show you how we do this. I mean, LaRussell doing it right now. The whole Bay Area really know that this was our template. We used to have to do this for ourselves, right? So let me see if I can just, I'm going to try to use some map I never use. MapQuest. Just so we can trip off this. Oh no, I guess I got to use Google. Just because the information they will provide. But they got this thing called Google Places. But they probably ain't gonna let me get that. That's an API, so let me stop. Let me see. Restaurants, I'm looking for nightclubs. Right? All right, cool. They just giving me where I'm at. Let me go to the Hall of California. All right. I ain't gotta show you how to route no tour. You can simply know that. It's easy. Do independent artists pay for marketing their YouTube videos? I can't tell you what all independent artists do. And you know what I'm saying? I don't even know. I ain't never paid for marketing none of our YouTube videos. Right? Man, my crew got videos that go from 2 to 3 views all the way up to 25 million views. Right? For one video. And I ain't got that algorithm figured out. Sometimes I can throw something into that YouTube algorithm. It'll do 2 views. Sometimes I'll throw it and get 1 million views. So I started to figure it's different waves out here. You know what I'm saying? And I just watching and learning. But we would pull out the map, type in nightclubs, and get busy the same way that we was getting. You can route California so easy, bro. Like, let me just look. I'm trying to, man, you be taking way too long. I switched all this stuff up. Let me see. You can route California way too easy. So say you start up in Sac. I'm just going to start this tour for you in Sacramento, right? And we're going to start in Sac. Let me see. All right, now look, this is so funny. Because I just put nightclub simply, and the first one popped up was Harlow's. Now, I don't know if you're around here from, that's what people be rocking. This is where you rock at. Now, I'm going to do all this live and just show y'all this is some real shit. Watch this. I'm definitely going to book this. If they hear my voice, I'll watch this. Let's call my own bluff. I'm just going to use the language that I advised y'all to use. And I'm about to see what's changed since the last time I did this. And they're going to tell me, what are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. I'm about to call them right now. Probably make some money pop real quick.
Thank you for calling Harlow's in the Starlet Room, live and independent, 1982. Our office hours are from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday.
They ain't open yet.
For show information, please visit our website at harlows.com. For other questions, please leave a detailed message and we will return your call as soon as possible. Thank you.
All right, so they said 10 o'clock. If it was 10 o'clock on the West Coast, I would have booked the show right now live for y'all at Harlow's and negotiated it real quick. Now for Harlow's, I could do a nice casual show up there and knock some money down. But Hyro has performed here, but I don't think they would be in a position to break that off right now. So I would just hit them up with I was about to do that, but all I was gonna say as soon as they answer, hey, how you doing? I'm looking to speak to your talent buyer. They was gonna tell me what was up with that or how they do things now. Then they was gonna get them on the phone. If I'm still streaming in the next 30 minutes, we're gonna call them back and see if we can book that show live on YouTube. Hi, you're live on YouTube, and I just want to let you know I'm talking about booking shows. They're gonna be like, what? Because I rocked Harlow's hella time. If they look in my history, they're going to be like, well, the last time he came here, it was cracking. I could use that show, too. I probably would have tried to negotiate a guarantee, though, if we was about to do it live like that. But in order for the video, I would have showed how we negotiate that quick door split. But anyway, you start up there, and then you go to your next night. I would have routed that south. So I would have went from Sacramento to San Francisco, Sacramento to Oakland. You feel me? There's a lot of spots we missed in between there too. But anyway, what's up? I feel I did it the hard way because it was a free concert. Free in the after. Oh, you said you brought Soul Messiah and Cyrock to your city and did it by a business plan, car washes, tax write-off from a nonprofit. Donations like food and coupons, merchant, got the performance venue for free. And yeah, that's good news. That's good news. I don't know nothing about that nonprofit stuff, so I don't talk about it much. Because you got to do so much homework and taxes and business to make sure it stay popping that I don't really know. You feel me? My stomach's starting to kill me. I'm about to get ready to end the stream. I might come back in a minute. Oh. Yeah. Thanks for tapping in. About to bust a move, probably make some hip hop, come back in a minute.